Abboud. She's running for U.S. Senate. I heard her speak last night at the Grand Dams. She's an awesome speaker and a great candidate. I give you Deedra Abboud.
Hello, I'm Deedra Abboud. I'm here to wake you up. I'm running for U.S. Senate, and what I always have to tell people is if you live in Arizona, you live in my district. Everybody gets two. I'm running for Flake seat. I am an attorney. I have a practice in Scottsdale, and I spent 15 years traveling all over Arizona as a social justice and civil rights advocate, bringing groups together to talk about discrimination, to mediate between employers and schools and workplaces. Really good story, I won't tell you, but it's on YouTube. I actually went to law school because I had an altercation with our Pios people over discrimination. Good story, another time when I have more time. I'm originally from Arkansas. That's where the accent comes from. As I get excited, it'll be more. Keep up. I grew up with a single parent. I was the youngest of 4 girls. My mother worked in law enforcement most of my life, and while working in law enforcement, she also usually had 2 to 3 jobs, including the law enforcement. I lived on leftovers and hand-me-downs. I played sports, pretty normal childhood, worked many different kinds of jobs growing up, went to college, and in '98, my mom actually had to come to Arizona for a conference, and I had some vacation time that I would lose if I didn't use it. It used to be the way. So I decided to come with her to Arizona. Came all prepared for the nice warm weather. It rained and was 40 degrees 4 out of 5 days. I had to go and buy new clothes just for vacation. But I loved it, and everybody said, Arizona is never this cold, this is so unusual. It's usually 120, and I'm like, I can totally do 120. So I went back to Arkansas, put in a huge notice, like 3 or 4 months, packed my car, whatever could fit in my car got to come, everything else got to stay, and drove across country where I didn't know anybody, I didn't have a job, I didn't have a place to live. And I figured all those things out. I then went into social justice and civil rights advocacy. Then, with my altercation, I went to law school. I opened up my law firm in Arizona, in Scottsdale, and I did immigration and estate planning. So I got them coming and going. In 2016, I got really upset because I saw so many of our elected leaders not being accessible, not having town halls, and not standing up for the people they represent when their colleagues were attacking them and using them for their own political gain. And it wasn't just on the presidential level, it was filtering down to local elections and including the grocery store. And we had almost zero leadership from our elected leaders holding their colleagues accountable. And I said, I can do better. So in October, I closed my law firm, stopped taking new clients. In April, I announced this race and started running in April. And since April, I've been running all over the state. Between April and December, I attended over 500 non-fundraising public events all over Arizona. Do the math, that's 1 to 6 a day, every single day. I have enjoyed it. I have been around the state. I can assure you that we are a purple state 100%. For a statewide race, which every candidate here tonight is in, we have 1/3 Democrat, 1/3 Republican, 1/3 independent other. The only thing that a statewide candidate has to win is get most of the Democrats to vote for them and some independents. We do not have to be a pretzel to try to get people to vote for us who will never vote for a D no matter what we do. We can run on our values, and this is the year to do it. The things that I talk about the most, number 1, health care for all. We've got to have Medicare for all. Every single industrialized country in the world has figured it out. We can too. People used to come to this country for the health care. People now leave this country for health care. Number 2 is education. This is an infrastructure issue. Our country was founded on making sure, we were the first country that made sure every person had access to free public education for K through 12. First country. That's how we got to where we are today. My grandparents told me how important education was. They told me that they walked uphill in the snow both ways. That's how important it was. We have to stop defunding it. We will go nowhere. Number 3 is net neutrality. I've been talking about net neutrality since April, and people have been telling me why. This is a freedom issue. Corporations, relationships with corporations cannot determine when, how, and how much information we get on the internet and our cell phones. And number 4 is separation of religion and state. If there's a law that needs to be built, that's the one. I don't even want to brand it. It already exists. We just need to fortify it. Because every attack on women's sexual freedom and every attack on the LGBTQ community is because someone's trying to put their religious interpretation into law to control the rest of us, and that has to end. Lastly, I also signed Candace with a contract that says out in May of 2017, before it was cool, I said I will not take corporate special interests or PAC money ever. And I will work to overturn Citizens United. And as an attorney, I can tell you there are at least 2 ways to do it. One of them is in the Supreme Court case itself. So if our Congress really wanted to get rid of the money in politics, the case told them how to do it, and they don't want to, and I promised I'll do it. So, question.